What other challenges or obstacles do you think there are, other than maybe working together more effectively for building the ecosystem here?
People always talk about cash. I like to think about things from an abundance sort of scarcity mindset. And so when you look at the companies that are around here, Ames, if you take away the students, has a population of like 35,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And the companies that have gotten funded here, a lot of them by local people, it's pretty astounding. And so, yes, we can always use more valley of death, proof of concept sort of funding. But I think we need to attract more women into entrepreneurship, period, across the board. And I think be willing as a machine, as a venture capital machine, as a system. They're pretty male-centric. And what I mean by that is most of the people who found success have been males. And I think that's indicative of what happens in large businesses as well. But I also think that women are going to tend to build things in a little bit of a different way, and that eventually the system will catch up to be supportive of those folks. And what I mean by that, I can give one specific example. I have a girlfriend who quit her job and became a Rodan and Fields, I don't know what they call it, consultant. It's a multi-level marketing company, and she has built an absolute empire with that. Well, there's all of these misconceptions about what multi-level marketing companies mean. But I look at her life, and I think she's in Arizona right now typing on her laptop, and she probably makes a lot more than both of us combined. And yet, would we have her come and talk about entrepreneurship to our people? Probably not. And why is that? I think it's just because it's not traditional. It's not a traditional business as our machine sees it. And I see women innovating in a way that benefits us. It's how we want to take care of our families, how we want to balance our time, more so than how the machine has traditionally dictated. And so I see that as being a huge opportunity moving forward for all of us to start thinking about things in different ways to attract people into our pipeline.
So is it magnifying and holding up some of those examples of women that have been successful that helps attract other women, or at least expose them to those ideas? Or what else can we do? Because we at the Agricultural Entrepreneurship Initiative have asked that same question. And men and women tend at least to approach things a little bit differently. And so probably how we communicate opportunities, expose to information, and even think about training from a younger entrepreneur perspective might need to be different as well.
Yeah, I think if I had the magic answer that I'd be a rich woman right now. But there's a lot of different things that I think will help. I think that we need to see people find success, but find it in a way where you don't have to sell your soul in the process. And there's this broad perception among women that if you're going to be really successful in your career, that you have to give up a lot of things in order to do that. And most of us, I think, aren't willing to do that. And I look at my friends that have found wild success. I have a friend that owns a production company in LA and makes movies. She's not married. She has a kid, but she has her mom flying back and forth and a full-time nanny, and has to put a lot of things in place to make that happen. I have another girlfriend who's a senior level vice president within the Time organization, and not married, same thing. So if I look at the women that I've been around, I was on a track where I would have been in that space, but I was a single mom and made a very conscious decision that I didn't want to work 80 hours a week, and I wanted to be in a place where I could make a difference, but not for 80 hours a week. I wanted to be a mom on top of it. So that's largely what led me back here. So I think the culture around entrepreneurship and startups has to change a little bit before more women will think it's okay to take a dive into that, because I think now the narrative is it's not worth it. I would rather keep my cushy job or keep myself at this space, even though I might be fully capable of doing that.
And even for couples that approach it, whether it's the man or the woman who are the entrepreneurs, it's always such a significant commitment, but it needs to be a team effort, because you can start a business anytime, but you can't start a family anyway. There's some
Absolutely.
flexibility,
Yep.
but and I think helping young people understand that there are seasons to life, and that you make certain choices at certain points, and there are compromises to be made, but you still can do really well, especially if you approach it together
Yeah.
and understand what some of the trade-offs are.
Absolutely. And I think hopefully we'll get to a point where we have some healthcare options where it's a lot easier for entrepreneurs. I think that's a huge thing that stands in the way for folks. Maybe not when they're really young, because you don't tend to think about things about the next catastrophic event that could happen, right?
Yep.
But when you get a little bit older and you start having kids and you're like, holy smokes, insurance would be a nice thing to have.
Almost necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably
So
is necessary.
if you make a hard choice that one person is really going to put all of themselves into the business and there aren't great options for that, then I think if we want to build companies, we need to build infrastructure to support those companies, and that will be a huge step in the right direction.